Hello everybody and welcome to the TARDIS Zone. We got the Revolution of the Daleks review panel, and I'm going to surprise a lot of people off the bat by saying this was not the worst thing that I've seen this year. This episode actually did surprise me. It was better than I thought it was going to be. There were some elements, I will say, there were things that did annoy me, but overall, I would have to say, without doubt, that this is the best thing that Chibnall has written in 3 years. I don't think any of the reviews have actually done it any justice, to be quite honest with you. I blame the BBC studios for not promoting this or giving us, or whoever was in charge of putting that trailer together should hang their heads in shame, because there was a lot more in this than we got to see in the trailer, and I thought the trailer was a misrepresentation of this episode. I have to be honest, there was a few laugh out loud moments. Captain Jack was not ruined. I was happy about that above anything else, but Captain Jack was Captain Jack. It was, I liked John Barrowman's performance. I know people will have different views than me, you know, I understand that, but I have to be honest, this is, when I do my own review of this, I have to be honest, it's not going to be as harsh as I thought it was going to be, because I thought we were going to get absolute rubbish, but we didn't, and I have to say that we didn't. There were some great moments in this story. You know, I will say this though, this is probably, again, a lot of people will disagree with me this, but I think this is Jodie Whittaker's best performance as the Doctor in this episode. She wasn't as annoying. She was at the start, I have to be honest. I even said that she's kind of getting out gritting, but as the episode went on, she was actually, you know, there were some emotional moments as well. And I have to be honest, Ryan and Graham's departure, it was emotional. I have to be honest, it was. They're the two, well, especially Graham O'Brien, as you all know, as fans, we love Graham O'Brien. So to see him go, that was a little bit sad. But do you know what? This is the one thing I'll say about this, though, right? Even though this is the best thing that he's done, in my opinion, it did feel all soap opera-y, and that's the thing that annoys me. If it was less with the soap opera, I mean, the end, for example, right? The end of the episode, for example, is ridiculous, right? I mean, we have this thing with Ryan and Graham back up on the mountain again, where he's learning to ride the bike. And then, what's her name? His mother, I keep getting Alice? Grace. Why do I keep saying Alice? I keep doing that. Grace then just appears in this bright light, right? There was no need for that. That annoyed me, right? It's Dr. Bloody Who. You stop, leave it out. We didn't need that. It was actually fine with the two of them on the mountain, even though I thought, and what the point was made, are we going back there again? And I was like, okay, but fair enough. It was a nice little moment. And I thought what would have been better, in my opinion, is if Yaz and the Doctor were somewhere in the TARDIS watching this moment happen. That would have made more sense. But for his mother to just turn up in a bright light, and then the bottom said he had the sun in their eyes, was a bit, his grandmother, sorry, was a bit over the top. But right, we've got one fella waiting. The Wolf and Storm, I've sent you the link also. What I'm going to do is, right, I've got one more person to actually send it because they've asked to be on tonight. So I'll send it to them. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the link in the chat. Now, I'm only going to bring people on that we definitely know. Whoever wants to join can join in, because I know people are going to have a different opinion to me on this one. Look, I don't think Chris Chibnall is still the man, but I have to be honest, this is the best thing that he's done. I have to be that for me, it's the best thing that he's done. And that surprised me. It surprised me because I was expecting this to be absolute rubbish, and I have to be honest, it wasn't. It wasn't. And I said to you, if it was bad, I'd say it was bad. Right? If it was good, I'd say it was good. I'm just being honest here. This is how I felt about the episode. I know people are going to have problems with it, and I did have problems with it myself. There were a few problems, I mean, do you know the one thing I did notice though? This whole yellow writing, like the Star Wars stuff, right? And then you had the prison that Jodie was in, and it was just for the purposes of name dropping. That's all that I seen that for. And I thought, here we go again. This is going to be, but have to be honest, the second half of this episode really kicked into gear when the Daleks. And I have to be honest, look, again, people might have a different opinion to me on this one, but the new Daleks weren't actually that bad. But I have to be honest, I was blown away the fact that the Doctor would send a signal out to bring the bronze Daleks back to destroy the new Daleks. And that did actually surprise me. I was like, holy shit, man, did that actually really happen? So, I was really surprised. I just have to be honest. And we'll see what the panel has to say. I know already that some people have problems with this, and that's fine. But let's see. It'll be interesting to see, does anybody agree with any points that I've made? So let's see. I'm going to read out these two super chats before we bring on our guests. So we got a £10 super chat from Garbage. He says, Series 11 boring, 2 out of 10 with Kablam being the exception. Series 12, 4 out of 10, but the Timeless Children ruined it. But this episode I give a 7. The Doctor was the Doctor. So much Yaz. Last 5 minutes was poor for me. I agree with the last 5 minutes. But there was an interesting scene in the episode, actually, where the Doctor comes back. And Yaz, and I mean, it was a full force shove she gave her, right? So it's already hinting, right? I'm going to tell you now, it's already hinting towards this whole thing between Yaz and the Doctor. You could see it. That wasn't a shove of someone that just missed the Doctor. That was a shove of someone that's in love with someone and can't believe that they're back and shoved because they're that angry with them. So there's that. So Nicholas Horton then with a £5 super chat. He says, it seems like the whole planet hasn't seen a Dalek before. Dalek amnesia, anyone? Now, I did make that point to Cheryl. I said, how many times have the Daleks actually invaded the Earth and nobody has reacted negatively to these things that look like the Daleks? So I don't, again, as I said, Nicholas, I do agree, there are some things that are wrong with this episode, but we're looking at what Chris Chibnall has given us so far. This is the best. Look, I enjoyed this episode. That's the thing that surprised me, because everybody is expecting me to come out with all this hate because he hates Jodie Whittaker, he's going to come out. No. I said if this was anyway halfway decent, I'd say something. And I have to be honest, this is the best Chris Chibnall episode that, in my opinion, that he has written, and I actually enjoyed this. Yes, there's problems with it, but overall, I enjoyed it. And I know that's going to surprise a lot of people, but I just have to be honest. I'm not going to hide my feelings, It's this episode did not make me angry. Like every other episode that he's ever written, and it has. This didn't make me angry. There was a few laughy moments as well, and I actually laughed out loud. Oh, that fella in what was it? What's his name? Yeah, man. The American. Chris. Look, I found him funny. Now I did get a bit bored near the end because he kept doing these little jokes, but he was just funny. The timing of, I'll have to be honest, I enjoyed that. I don't know what I enjoyed it. I'm sorry, but I did. Right, we've got our panel waiting, and what I'm going to do is, as I said, I'm going to leave the link. This is going to be interesting. Now, as I said, I'm only bringing people on that I know. So if you want to come on, here's your opportunity now. So fingers on the buzzers, folks. Right, let's bring on our panel. This is going to be very, very interesting tonight, actually. So let's start. So we will start off, and I want to just say a happy new year to everybody, by the way. Let's see, has this ruined people's new year? Or are people surprised? Like I was, and I have to be honest, I was surprised. I was thinking that this was going to be a pile of complete rubbish, but it wasn't. That's my opinion. Right, let's do it anyway. Right, the trigger train is here. Yes, it's the one and only Ballstrike. Or maybe not.
I was muted.
Maybe the episode killed him. Oh no, he's here.
No,
he's here. You're
here.
here.
No, if you liked it, Noel, that's cool. Nobody's going to yell at you for it. I got to be honest. I just didn't give a shit. This was the first episode that I've watched as a not Doctor Who fan, because I'm not a fan anymore. I'm sick of this show and just sick of the fandom. But that's been the case for like 6 months at least. If I wasn't doing the stream and if I wasn't planning on doing a comedic review of the episode, I wouldn't have watched it. I was bored. I felt absolutely nothing from this episode. The Daleks almost look cool. That's about it. Whittaker was as grating as ever. Stand-in Trump was even more over the top, and goddamn, that performance was just fucking horrible.
Did you not like him?
No, but to be honest, I don't care. I felt nothing. I can't even say I'm really angry at this anymore because Doctor Who's done. I don't even care if it gets canceled because there's no coming back. But if you liked it, it's cool. Like, it wasn't. I'll say this: it wasn't as shit as most of Chibnall's episodes. It was his least shit episode. Yeah. But it was still shit. I think one thing that was circulating on Twitter was a piece of shit with sprinkles on it. So I'll call this a piece of shit with sprinkles. But the acting across the board was absolutely appalling. I found Whittaker to be even more grating than usual. Captain Jack has destroyed his character. His performance was completely over the top, but Chris Noth's performance, and he's a good actor because we've seen him in Law and Order, but it may have been the most over the top, just god awful performance I've seen in Doctor Who in years, possibly the new series. Like, he was ridiculous in Arachnids in the UK, but this was just a fucking joke. So the show's done. Like I said, I didn't feel anything. I didn't really feel anger. Definitely didn't feel excited. I'm just like watching it. And it struck me at how much I didn't care. Because even watching series 12, I was still ramped up. I was still angry over what they've done. But now it's I'm apathetic. I don't care. I'm not a fan of the show anymore. I'm just a neutral observer. I will have fun with this, but my reviews now, when I do them for Doctor Who, they're just going to be like my woke Batman reviews. My investment in Doctor Who right now is the same as my actual investment in Batwoman. I don't actually give a shit about the show. I just find it hilarious, which is why I do my reviews the way I do. And even my videos on Doctor Who lately, they've been mainly just making fun of it, but that's all my review is going to be, just making fun of it. It's fucking pathetic. I can't believe people are still giving their license dollars to the BBC. I don't know. I guess there was a canceled BBC because apparently their Lightning show yesterday was somewhat biased. I don't know. I have to read the whole article, but yeah, that's what I thought about the episode. I just plain don't give a shit. My investment is gone. Doctor Who is dead.
Can I ask you this question then? Do you think if you were still invested, if you hadn't disconnected yourself from the show because of obvious reasons, because of what Chris Chibnall has done, and maybe if you haven't disconnected, you'd have a slightly different opinion?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Because this, like I said, I will say it's the least shit of Chib's episodes, but it's still worse than anything that came 2017 and prior. So it's still shit. It's like the saying, you can only polish a turd so much. So there were some sprinkles on the top. The new Daleks weren't terrible. They weren't great. They were just there. But I can, although I'm so divested from Doctor Who fandom now that it's actually hard to even picture what it would be for somebody that's still a fan of the show. Like I said on a live stream a few years ago, or not a few months ago, when we were on Gary's channel, even my Doctor Who DVDs, which is what a lot of people watch me unbox for years, which are still up on my channel, although I removed all the purchase links because I don't want to give the BBC any fucking money. But even those, they're still packed up in a box. They're upstairs in my I've got a storage room up on my second level, so I just dumped them all there in boxes. I'm not going to get rid of them because at some point I know I might become interested in Doctor Who again, but now it's like they used to have the central if you look at my office, it's all my DVDs and Blu-rays. It's too deep. It's all over the walls, organized. Doctor Who used to have my nicest cabinet, which now holds my Scream Factory collection. Because I don't even want to look at it. It's just fuck this show, fuck the fandom.
Okay, right. Well, let's bring on the rest of our guests. This is going to be an interesting.
Who have I depressed so far?
Well, I have to be honest. Most people are agreeing with you so far. So
yeah, but at the same time, guys, like Noel's still entitled to his opinion. If you liked it, that's fine, and we're not going to attack him on it. I wish I could like Doctor Who. I wish I could see something good in it, but like I said, I don't care. The Mandalorian was great. Yeah, I saw a comment about that. The Mandalorian just blew me away, and I watched the whole thing in one sitting. I'm like, my God, there's actually something decent on TV. So Mandalorian was awesome. So give me more Mandalorian. Doctor Who, just fuck off.
Right, we just could someone do us a favor? Chris, could you do us a favor? See the link that I put in the chat for people to join? Could you remove it, please? Because we have a few trolls that have decided that they're going to jump in, but I've banned them from the studio. So if you could take that link down, that'd be fantastic. Right, let's bring on the rest of our guests anyway. Thank you, Baldstrick, for that. And listen, it doesn't matter. Look, as you all know on this channel, yeah, we all have different opinions, yeah. So if people don't like mine, that's fine, fair enough. Other people are gonna have.
This is what our side is like, guys. We're not like the other side. Exactly. We don't cancel each other just over a difference of opinion, as long as you're respectful. Is all we ask. The other side, a situation like this where Noel and I are in disagreement, they'd be canceling each other over Twitter, but we're not like that. We're respectful. So Noel and I,
anyway, at the end of the day, we're entitled to different opinions, and
we can agree to disagree.
Exactly.
It's when you personal and when you start attacking people, and that's why I'm out of Doctor Who fandom, because I was just so fucking sick of it.
Yeah. I mean, people, that's what I mean. People don't have to agree. That's why it's called an opinion. We all have, and that's the best thing about our side of the fandom is that you're allowed that opinion. If people disagree with me, or people agree with Ballstrick, or disagree with Ballstrick, or agree with me, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day,
honestly, guys, if you liked it, feel free to say that you liked it. I'm like, you're entitled to that opinion.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? As I always say, it's like the other side. If you have a problem with that, then, like, you know what I mean? That's just, grow up. We all have different opinions. But look, there's like, as I said, there's some problems I do have with this episode. But and you've even agreed as well, out of anything that Chris Chibnall has given us, it's the best thing that
I'll describe it as, say you've got explosive fucking diarrhea for a week, and then it cures itself, and then you take your first shit that isn't completely explosive, where you don't shit your pants. There you go. That's what this episode is.
Right.
You're all welcome for the visual, by the way.
Right, let's bring on the rest of our guests, because we've got another 5 guests waiting. So we have the Wolf and the Storm joining us. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. Right,
I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll get the rest of the panel on first, right? Because they're waiting there a good, 15, 20 minutes. So we'll get everybody on, and then I'll ask you then next what you thought of the episode.
Sure. No problem.
All right. We've also got the third Doctor joining us.
Hi.
How are you?
All right, thank you, Noel. Yeah, you?
I'm not too bad. You sound a bit down. Did you like this?
Oh, not really. I am Ballstrick's all the shit terminologies, so I can't use those because it won't sound fresh. But
right.
I'm very much aligned with what he was thinking.
Right. Well, this is going to be an interesting panel. So far, I'm the only one that actually thought this was decent. This is going to be interesting.
You haven't asked me yet. You haven't asked me yet.
Us as well. Hey, John. You there, John? Okay, we'll come back to John. We'll just remove him for now, just as there might be a problem with his sound. We'll see if he sends a message. Right, we've got Jed with us.
Hey, man.
Hello, Jed. Okay.
They may be on mute. You can't actually see mute on the screen when you're displaying text on the bottom.
Yeah,
there
sorry,
you go.
Mike. Yeah, sorry. Thank you, Nicole.
No, I had to say
thank you, brother.
Because
yeah,
in StreamYard when you're on mute, but if Noel's putting something at the bottom, you can't actually see it. So it's a design flaw.
Yeah, I've learned about StreamYard because I fixed it up last night for me. So that was one of my New Year's resolutions.
Folks, there's 88 people watching right now. If you could hit the like or dislike button, whatever you want to do. But share.
I'm going to dislike it right now, dude.
And PD Rich, we've got PD Rich joining us as well. Hello, PD Rich.
Hey, buddy. How you doing?
Not too bad. Right, let's try John again.
Me and PD watched the show together.
Oh, yeah.
We watched it together, and we were going ballistic in the Discord channel.
What? Two hearts. I thought she wasn't girlfriend. What?
John, are you with us? It sounds like he's trying to get his earphones in or something.
Yeah.
John, you might need to reboot.
Hello? Yes.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you, John? Can you hear us? Yeah.
I'm here.
Yeah. Okay. There might be a bit of a delay, but that is John. We have John with us. Okay. Right. Let's get straight into this.
Actually, if there's a delay, that's another issue with StreamYard. We discovered this when I was streaming with Drinker. If you're using a laptop with a weak Wi-Fi signal, it causes a delay if you're too far away from your router.
Yes.
Hello, John. Can you hear us?
Yeah. We can hear you.
Yeah.
Close to your Wi-Fi, John. Oh, Jesus, just cut out again.
We'll get him back. That is John, though, so we'll get him back if he can come back. He can come back. Okay, right. Let's get straight into this anyway. So we know what Ballstreck thoughts are on this episode.
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah, no, you didn't. I was with you the whole time. I heard.
Welcome to Storm. How did you feel about this special?
Oddly enough, no, I'm kind of in your camp. I was surprised. I was going into this thinking, okay, I'm gonna have to suffer through this because we got to review this thing, and it definitely has issues. I will not say that it doesn't have problems, but I think for once Chibnall actually tried. He's like half the way, but not quite making the finish line. He definitely needs to hire a better editor because there are some scenes that just went on way too long, and I get what he's trying to do, like the scene that the doctor and Ryan are having the conversation. I had a feeling he was really trying hard to make up for the whole debacle with Graham, the whole cancer thing. So he was trying to give them the conversation to make her look less awkward. And it kind of worked. But it's like, okay, Chibnall's problem is that he hits extremes on both sides, and he can never quite meet in the middle. He had first the doctor not looking all awkward and ignoring Graham completely, and now he has a conversation that went on way too long. I mean, it was good. Like, the content was good. They really needed to have that talk. But you could even tell at one point the actors were like, what else are we supposed to say now? Because they kept just going on and on, really awkward. And I'm like, can we just shore this up? We get it now. Thanks. But can we move on?
I do agree. That's one of the issues I had. I think the episode was a little bit too long. And that is because, as you said, some of the scenes were just a little bit too long. But again, out of everything that Chris Chibnall has written, this is by far the best thing that he is actually doing. And I was actually surprised by that. Those new Daleks didn't actually annoy me. When we seen the pictures again, whoever is it, but I will say this though, whoever's in charge of promoting this episode should hang their heads in shame though, because the trailer they gave us nothing in it, right? If they had have included some of those action scenes, right, in that trailer, it would have drummed up some. I don't know. It's like as if they are trying to deliberately kill it, because this wasn't as bad as that he's given us for the last 2.5 years or whatever it is now. At this stage, I've lost bleeding count because he takes so long to give us a season. But I look. It was better than I thought. And I'm surprised by that.
There was some scenes like in the beginning where things happened way too fast.
Yeah.
And it almost strained credulity, like how Jack just showed up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I was like, how in the hell did you even know she was there? And how did you even know that was her? You've not seen her new face. So there's some logic points that are not quite hitting. But then once they got to the Dalek part where it got really like emotional, I gotta tell you, I'm not even shitting you. When they when the camera panned in the Dalek Death Squad ship, and I saw my bronze beauties, I got a little misty-eyed because I was like,
yeah, that's it.
bitches right there.
I love that as well. I was like, and the thing that surprised me about that whole thing was it was the fact that Jodie's doctor was the one that signaled them in the first place to come, so she was taking a huge risk. For once, this doctor actually took a risk. You know, this is the one thing that we've been asking for in 2 seasons, and he gave it to us. Okay, whether people like it or not is beside the point, but for once, do you know what I'll say about this, right? I think this Jodie Whittaker as the doctor, this is the most doctory she has been ever since.
I'll use my analogy again.
Go on.
So as I said, so Chibs managed not to shit himself this time. He just shit all over the floor. So congratulations.
It's true.
And, a lot of people are actually asking where certain people are that would have been here normally. There are a lot of regulars that just plain refuse to watch the episode.
Yeah.
So I know,
and there were those of us that were like, okay, we're gonna watch it so you will know, you know.
They don't watch anymore.
Yeah.
But, see,
I mean, when she said the line, she had a line in a way. She said something about being the doctor. Do you remember that line? And she said, because she's talking about, I don't know who I am, and she's having that conversation with Ryan, and then when all the shit starts happening, and she turned around and says, I do know who I am the doctor, or it was a line to that effect, and I was like, for once, I actually slightly believe that. That's
the best way I can kind of describe it is like, and it's true, this is the first time I ever actually seen her where I felt like I could somewhat believe that she was this character, because she's kind of like a fuse that when it works well, it works. But it doesn't always quite connect the way it should. And it kind of flickers. Yeah. Like she had moments where she was on point. But then it was also tempered by moments where the fuse blew and she was just her annoying, grating ass self. Like in the beginning, when she first steps out of the TARDIS, she doesn't know how long exactly she's been gone. She knows how long she feels she's been in the prison. I think she said 19 years, 20 years or something like that.
Yeah.
She doesn't know how long she's been gone. So she acts like it's meaningless to the other three. And the three that were just staring at her like they can't even believe she's alive.
Yeah. And that's when Yaz pushes her with the force of that I've never seen. Like she really does. That's leading up to something. You could clearly see that wasn't a shove of someone that just missed the doctor. That's someone that loves the doctor.
I could have told you that.
Wanted to jump the doctor's bones. I'm like, God damn it.
Scissor Sisters unite, you know what I'm saying?
As we said, we're watching live.
It just annoys me the fact that she knows that the last time they saw her, she was they had to escape a planet that was about to be destroyed. And she knows that they haven't seen her in however long.
Yeah.
But she doesn't act like she knows this. It's like sometimes she has brains, and then other times she acts like a moron. It doesn't. Yeah. It's like she's a fuse that's never quite able to connect. This was the first time I'd ever actually seen shades of that oncoming storm that I'd missed so much. But yet it's like it's there, and then the fuse blows.
Yeah.
And then it's there, and then the fuse blows.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I was thinking, though, if this had been the starting point for Chris Chibnall when he started out with Jodie Whittaker's doctor, if this was the starting point, right, and it developed from there, then I think she'd improve. But this is 2 years too late. I want to make that point. This is
thou doth protest. So say this was Whittaker's first performance. This is still coming right after Capaldi. And we'd be saying, because the woman who fell to earth is probably Chib's second least poop stained story. Yeah. So it would be the same thing. she pales to the previous 4 new series Doctors. So, it wouldn't be as bad because at this point we wouldn't have been exposed to arachnids in the UK and whatever the fuck Orphan 55 was supposed to be, or the complete destruction of canon.
Yeah.
But it's no, you always compare the next Doctor to the previous Doctor, and we'd be comparing this to Capaldi, and they're not even in the same league. So that
hell no.
protest.
Hell no, they're not in the same league. I've said that. And Capaldi got screwed over completely too.
Oh yeah, he was forced out.
Yeah, and that's the thing that pissed me off about that, because he deserved to be the Doctor. Since he was a kid, he said, I wanted to be the Doctor. And then he got the chance to be the Doctor, and they screwed him over.
Yeah.
Let's see what the Wankfest on Gallifrey base is rating this as.
I know. It's just going to be a huge circle.
Okay,
it's going to be like how the Daleks were in the episode in the circle, and here's a cracker in the center, boys. The
worst part about it though is I feel so bad for Chris Knopf, because I know
he's a good actor. He's just badly
I remember watching Law and Order, the original Law and Order, when I was young. He is so much better than this crap. Like he is so much better than this.
I couldn't believe how bad the performance was, because I'm sure we all remember the day-long Law and Order marathons on A&E that seemed to be every day like 20 years ago.
Okay.
The guy can act.
Yeah, he acted better in Sex and the City than he did in this episode.
I can happily say I never watched that, but
Chris Knopf here in the States is like a Law and Order institution. Everybody knows who Chris Knopf is because of the character he played, and when the character left, and then many years later the character came back in one of the spin-offs. It was a huge deal because he's a beloved character and he's a great actor. He deserves better than this wreck.
Yeah,
I mean,
and I will say this: they ripped off a ton of episodes in this.
Yeah.
I was telling PD in this. They ripped off. They went through the catalog and like, hey, let's take a little something from over here. Take a little something over here. Blood of the Daleks.
Victory, Revelation.
Yeah. And Chin Nuts, and I will say that because Gary started
Resolution.
that one. Chin Nuts ripped his own self off too. Okay,
Resolution.
He's like, "Hey, I'm just gonna come over here and rip my own self off, and then go rip a little bit." It's like, "Hey, are you got the Star Wars syndrome over there, brother? Because you're doing what you do to the EU."
Well, it's been 10 years since everybody's forgotten.
Right, folks. Let's hear what the third Doctor has to say about tonight. So far, it seems to be everybody is not hating it as much as that's what I'm getting from this panel tonight. Even though
I agree with Bullstruck 100%.
But he's not hating on it.
I'm too apathetic to hate it. I just
I feel
I feel the same way about Doctor Who right now as I do with The Mandalorian. It might be a little bit too late, but I was happy to see they did try to do some things like Luke in Mandalorian, but it took them 2 seasons to do that. It took them 2 seasons. Jodie's been 2 seasons in, and now they want to start doing shit. Like, what the hell, man?
Well, it's here's a way of kind of describing those that are sort of on my side, the apathetic side.
Yeah,
it's like you're in a relationship or a bad marriage. You fight, you yell at each other, you hate each other's guts, then you just stop talking. That's when you know you're fucked. And given again the amount of regulars on Noel's channel that aren't here today, didn't even want to watch it, and I only watched it because I want to make a comedic video out of it because I just don't give a fuck. So, that's where a lot of Doctor Who fandom is right now. Like, we're not angry anymore because that's like it's just you stop giving a shit. So that's where we are right now. We're at that point in the marriage where you're just not talking to each other, you're ignoring each other, and somebody's about to send someone else divorce papers. So
Yeah.
that's where we're at. We don't fucking care.
Yeah.
It's that
Yeah.
disaster point in the marriage.
Right.
And I gotta bring this up. We're like, I'm glad Noel has a different, because it's not an echo chamber in here. Wolf liked it.
Was.
Yeah, and it never was. And this, and I have to say this about the other side. That's their echo chamber. But over here, we have real conversations and everything. There's several people on the panel that actually like it, and then there's Ballstruck, me, and PD that actually we're in the empathetic stage, but we're like, yeah, we wish they could have done better, but that's, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm glad we have this, and we love Noel, we love everybody in the panel, we love everybody in chat. We're not gonna rip on it. Because having a different opinion is a good thing. That's how you get the good things in life and how you get better in life. You learn from your experiences.
Makes you a human being as well.
Yeah, it makes you a human being. Yeah.
Well, let's hear what the Third Doctor has to say about the episode tonight. Go ahead.
Well, I wasn't a fan. I'm not a fan of her anyway, and I just no longer have the buzz when there's going to be an episode on. Right through RTD's era, it was always exciting when there was going to be an episode on. Christmas specials, even through Matt Smith. I struggled a bit with Capaldi, not because of Capaldi. I just think he was badly served. But Moffat was one for ripping off a lot of other stuff as well. But
oh yeah, true.
Yeah.
We can't say that he didn't do that, because he did rip himself off too.
Oh yeah.
But I will have to say that he does it worse than he did, though.
Oh yeah, God yeah. I mean, this episode, watching it was. I mean, obviously, I've said I can't use all the shit terms because Bolstracks use those.
Sorry, man.
Yeah.
No, you can steal my shit terms. Put your own spin on the shit.
I put my own spin on it too. So
this episode felt like what I would imagine having anal warts lanced would feel like, if I put it that way. It was just horrendous. The bits that I liked seeing Jack again. It wasn't vintage Jack, but it was Jack, and he wasn't feminized, if you like, for a better term. He was Jack as we knew him. Although I do think he disappeared a little bit at the end with just a voice on the radio. He didn't even get afforded a goodbye or anything like that. But everything that I liked in this episode did not include Jodie Whittaker. I think she's just so. I mean, it's disrespectful to Wood to call her wooden, because wood is useful, and she's not.
True.
Yeah, I think I'll tell you what somebody got me for Christmas. This, right? And they also got me.
God. Did they get it ironically?
And wood can evolve too. Wood can evolve into something good.
Mold.
I think I liked. I didn't like the way she kept referring to them as SAS Daleks. A few years ago, I worked with the army for 10 years and worked with some people that I sent in the job that I had. I would send some people to train with the SAS, and I had some dealings with the SAS and was never in the SAS. They're a really honourable organisation, and they're bloody great. And to refer to something that is so evil, bad, bloody, bloody, blah, ad infinitum, and refer to them as SAS Daleks is just, I didn't like it. But if these Daleks are like Death Squad Daleks, which I like the idea of, then I would imagine that they would look different. I'd like to have seen them maybe the gunmetal grey that we saw in Dalek or Genesis, something like that, just to suggest that they were different. And I think that missed a trick just by having the old bronze things. But everything with Jodie Whittaker was just painful. It was horrendous. I'd have rather have sat on a blender. To be honest, it was awful. And then right at the very end, Ryan and Graham are doing the bike thing again. And that, what was that apparition? What was that all about?
I know.
she's there, and he says, "I've got the sun in my eyes. That's all." And then they look at them both, and the sun's behind them. So I mean, it was as twee and as made up and as shite as the end of Forest of the Night, where everything disappeared into pixie dust and that missing girl was found behind a bush, or the moon hatched into a dragon which laid another moon. It was as bollocks as that. It wasn't Chibnall's worst by any means, but when his average is vomit-inducing, not being his worst isn't a compliment. It was. I can't see it getting many viewers, and I honestly think that love the series as I have done. I think it needs a rest. It needs a rest, and everything.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
And that one thing that was Ryan not evolving as a character because he went back to square one like he was in the first episode.
Well, he's male, isn't he? He's male.
Yeah. Oh,
I mean,
male bad.
Male.
You know,
he's not a white male, but he's male, and he's only a few episodes from sucking his thumb. Remember, but there was one thing. If you remember, you go back to School Reunion, and the Doctor meets Sarah Jane again. And for the Doctor, it's probably been decades. Now, I know Jack said he'd been 19 years in the prison getting a cell near to her, but she said she'd been in the prison for decades. So similar time, perhaps, to what the Doctor had been separated from Sarah Jane. And when he met Sarah Jane, when she stumbled on the TARDIS and he was standing there in the light and everything, and there was genuine feeling and emotion. You could feel that. That was two brilliant actors.
Yeah.
And another thing about that she complained and bitched at him, why are you trying to break me out and blah blah blah. And I was like, be thankful, Jack's trying to do, I'm
not gonna say what I said.
These fans, the fam, Christ, that she's not seen for her decades. She hasn't seen them for decades, and it was like two pencils staring at each other. It was
true.
That's the sad part, because they could have done so much more with it. They had advertised the reunion between the Doctor and Jack as being very emotional because they hadn't seen each other in so long, and yet it went by so quick.
Yeah.
That there was no emotional gravity to it whatsoever, because she saw him, she was glad, and then we need to break out now. And I'm like,
and then she started complaining about it, and he's like, I'm here to bust you out. I've been in jail trying to get to you for years because I want to get you out because I missed you. And she's like, oh yeah, whatever. Why are you trying to break me out for? I was like, what is that?
No,
and
hold on, that's unfair to say, because what he did say was he had to commit a few crimes. So we have to put that in. And that's why she was complaining. What did you have to do to get in here? And I think that's a very valid point to make. Sorry, but I'm going to say it. That's a valid point to make. What did he actually have to do to get into prison? You know what I mean? What crimes did he commit? So, I mean, she had every right. I'm sorry, but you would question someone like that. If someone was breaking you out of prison, they said you had to do horrible things to break you out, you would question, what did you do? So I thought that was a valid point. I'm sorry, but I don't agree with that one. I mean, he's breaking her out, but he did something terrible to get her out. So, and
considering the types of prisoners that were in that prison, it would have to be something pretty fucking nasty.
I said this too. They turned that into Arkham Asylum too, because I said this to PD Rich. I was like, they turned it into bloody Arkham Asylum because it was like who's been in Doctor Who in all those cells.
And it could have, but not enough though. It could have been better. It could have been better, at least for the Doctor anyway, if they had made it darker and much more dangerous. This way, when she did get back, you could have seen that emotional release of finally escaping, and maybe even some PTSD from being stuck there for that long. Instead, it's like 20 years drop in the hat. And I get that she's a being that has an extended lifespan. I get it. But that doesn't mean that she wouldn't have some sort of after effects from being stuck in that place for that long.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I said. There are a few issues with this, and you are right. The start of this does feel like it's a bit rushed, but then when it settles down, then it's not. As I said, it's probably Chris Chibnall's best episode to date. But it's taken, and I will say this, it's taken 2 years to get to this point, or 3 years to get to this point. Why hasn't he been like, okay, people are right, it'd still be a mediocre start, like the woman who fell to earth was. But if that was the starting point, because I felt that there was moments where Jodie Whittaker did feel like the Doctor. I have to be honest, she was the most doctory in this episode than any other. And if that had been the starting point 3 years ago, whenever this abomination started, I think that wouldn't have been a bad start. And then if she had it developed from there, while Chris Chibnall improving as a writer, then we might have got somewhere. But this is 2-3 years too late, right?
Yeah, I agree with that.
The damage
a little bit too late.
Is already done though, but. Tomorrow, the overnights on Monday, the overnights because it's Friday now, so the overnights will probably come out on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
We'll probably have it's going to be very interesting to see will word of mouth for this episode make a difference, because it didn't make a difference for the last best of special because it was the lowest rate.
Most people are checked out.
I think that this was going to be even lower, but I even have to say, I think this one is going to rate a lot higher.
Yeah, I'm thinking 2.5 maybe. Anywhere from 2 to 2.5, because my original was going to be 1.5 to 2, but now I think it's going to be 2 to 2.5, somewhere in that range.
I don't know. I'm going to be bold and say I think this episode could do 3 million in the overnights. I could do 4.5 in the consolidated.
I think even though Chips didn't shit himself as badly this time, 2.5 might be generous, because even though it wasn't as bad, a lot of people have walked away. A lot of people weren't going to watch it anyway, because the damage that they did a year ago.
There's fans that didn't watch this tonight, right? And I'm not going to sit here and say you should watch it, right? You've made your decision, and I respect that decision, right?
Mm-hmm.
For me, as I said, this is 3 years too late, but it is the best thing he's given us. But it's still not saying much, because you look what he gave us for the last 2 or 3 years. That hasn't been great, but the damage is already done. So I don't know. Series 13, right? This is the way I look at it. Series 13, he will have to improve tenfold to rescue this era, but I think it's beyond that. And I do agree with the Third Doctor. It's getting to this stage now where would a rest do it the world of good? I would have to say yeah. But again, I will defend elements of this. There were problems with it. Wolfenstorm has brought up a few of the problems, and I will say, Jed, even though the part where they were on the mountain, okay, I do agree, which is kind of back to square one, but I kind of look at the way it was, well, that's where they started off their journey together, because remember, the first time they were on that mountain, Ryan and his granddad were conflicted.
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
But then when they get to this scene, then they're not conflicted anymore. They've bonded. They've reached that point of the relationship where they're comfortable with each other. And that's what I got from that. Now, the scene right after that where he falls off the bloody bike, which we'll get to, was absolutely ridiculous. I was
it was. I was going ballistic when I saw that.
Going to do there, or what that to represent, but I don't know. Was it because she was there to represent? Well, you have got to this stage. It's a relationship. I can rest now in peace, or whatever. But still, it made no sense within a sci-fi bloody program why a ghost or whatever were torn up, or whatever it was supposed to be. That part was ridiculous, but that's the one thing that actually really made me angry. What was the point? There was no point to that scene. He didn't need to. If he didn't put that in and just had it ended that way, as I said, with the Dr. Diaz and the TARDIS maybe looking down at them, smiling, happy that they've got to this stage, I would have been happy with that. But they had no, I didn't like the end. And then we'll get to the John Bishop stuff in a minute, right? But
yeah, I want to say something that somebody saw in chat. No,
say that again.
Somebody in chat, Last Freeman, said, please act Chibnall, make Jodie a regeneration of Missy and bring back McGann as the real Doctor. I agree with that. I want McGann to be the Doctor. He deserves a shot.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Not under this regime or current BBC.
Yeah, not right here, but when they get rid of him and they bring somebody new in, bring McGann in. He deserves a shot. You know.
Right.
Honestly, I think the whole deal with Grace was, I mean, it wasn't exactly executed the best way, but I think it was a way for Graham and Ryan to know that it was okay to move on.
Yeah.
The only problem
was
they had not very well developed, well, with some very few exceptions in Graham's case, they hadn't really well developed the story behind Grace and the after effects of her death and what it did to them to lose her. It was like one and done, and they really didn't put any effort into it. So it doesn't have meaning for the audience to see her again at the end.
Mm-hmm.
If there was more, okay. Compare it to The End of Time Part 2. When all the faces changed to the Master, and then we get this scene where Donna is walking down the street and she sees it happen, and you know she can't see that happen or she's going to burn. When you know that she could die, of course the audience is emotionally invested because they know the story behind Donna. They've been invested in Donna from day one, and they would destroy the fans to lose her. So of course we're like biting our nails going, oh my God, she's going to die. She's going to die. And of course we're happy when she doesn't die because we love her.
I was happy she did die because Donna is one of the people that I actually did like throughout that whole run. Donna was awesome.
But the point is that they developed that character and the backstory enough so that the audience could connect and feel that emotional response. In this, they really didn't. So we're seeing that we're kind of like, okay, cool, I guess. But like, we don't have that emotional attachment to her because Chibnall has not developed the characters enough to give us the emotional attachment.
Well, that's like the whole 2 seasons together. There's no emotional attachment. If you go back to Capaldi and everything in New Who, somebody has a form of attachment of everything up to Jodie. Okay? It's true. People, like, I've liked, bits and pieces from every single era of all the New Who Doctors except for this one, because there's no attachment, It's just not enough character creation, not enough story, not enough. Just
leaves you cold. It just leaves you cold.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to hit on Moffat pretty bad for not being able to develop characters well.
Yeah, we all did back in the day.
At least in comparison to Russell, who is phenomenal when it comes to developing the characters on his show. But at least Moffat made an attempt.
Yeah.
Chibnall doesn't even do that much.
Yeah, he's like, hey, I'm just going to phone it in.
It's like he's banging action figures together and taking
he's going to phone it in.
I kind of get where Bolstreck's coming from when he says, if you don't care, why should we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Takes 2 to tango.
How could anybody care about How could anybody care about seeing this Grace character again when the last time they saw it depicted, admittedly a copy of it, but was in an episode with an interdimensional frogs on a chair?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God, I forgot about that.
Casual viewers. I mean, that was a year and a half, 2 years ago. What casual viewers are going to remember that or even catch it?
Yeah, like Grace, who's that?
That character we saw with that talking frog. I mean, I think it's the bloody Muppets. Talking frog.
Yeah.
Is this big as well?
And that's what's so sad about That episode could have really gone places if they had done it right. It could really have given Graham and Ryan a way to explore grief, because Graham was in it in that episode. Like, he was almost not wanting to leave because he really believed that it was her, and they really could have done something deep and emotionally with that, but they didn't. It didn't go anywhere, and the doctor acted like she didn't even care.
They half-assed it like they've done the last 2 seasons in specials, basically.
Yeah. That's why I also look really cheap around the edges.
If Jodie Whittaker and Chibnall had been 2005 in Series 1, it would never have got a Series 2. And they should have treated it like, not they're on the back of something else, that they're starting something fresh and really work hard.
Yeah.
And they're lazy because it's on the back of everybody else's work, mainly Russell T Davies. And then Moffat, obviously, but mainly Russell Davies, who did all bringing it back and put all the energy into convincing the BBC. I mean, if it had been Chibnall, they'd have said, what a pile of shit. We're not doing Series 2, and that'd have been it. But the BBC, when they okayed Series 2, they okayed Series 3 as well at the same time, which was unprecedented. But with this, they're just sending packing. But of course, they did this multiple season contract with God knows who, China and everybody else, and they've got to do it. But it's painful. It's painful.
I will say this. Disaster Airy said something which is true. I hated Alaric, but his death was impact. I hated him too, but when you saw him die, you were like, damn, that's messed up. You know? When he went crashing in that huge ship, you're like, holy shit, dude. Like, it took a little part of you. Like, he was a crybaby, like, most of his time, and like, hey, doctor, like, he was a little puppy around the doctor all the time. But when he actually died, you're like, holy crap.
Yeah.
Wow.
Silent ending as well. Silent ending.
Yeah, the ending and how they ended it was just, it took your breath away, you know?
The point is that even the characters that aren't even on there very long still resonate with us. We still feel connections to characters that haven't been on the show in decades. I'm not talking about New Who. I'm even going back as far as Classic Who. When Katie Manning did that cute little lockdown thing for, I almost cried. I was like, oh my God, it's Joe Grant. It was great. And to think she hasn't been on the show in 30 plus years, but we still have that connection this long. Yep. These characters, when they leave, no one's going to care.
And there's still that thing about when I forgot her name, who played Ace? People were excited. Yeah, when I didn't watch that many, but I did see like some of the better episodes. I didn't, because I was a teenager by then, I think, so I was like going on doing my own thing. But Ace was a badass at one time too, though, and she said, hey, I would love to come back. And then when she said that, everybody and their dogs were like, Ace coming back. And you see all the pictures online of people putting their Ace jackets on and everything else. They're like, she'd be awesome if she came back, But it's I feel that exact same way about Tom. When I saw Tom and he was the curator in the show, I was like, oh my God, Tom is the ultimate form of the Doctor. No wonder why they put him in there. Like, seriously. Because I have a huge to like the third and fourth Doctor, or like that's when I started, and I have a huge connection. That's the reason why I love Sarah Jane and everybody else so much, and Joe and everybody,
I just wish that Chibnall would take some advice from Russell when it comes to developing characters the right way.
Yeah, he needs to.
Here's the thing that puzzles me. He did it for Broadchurch. Now, people are saying he might have got lucky, right? Okay, that might be it, but he has proven before with Broadchurch. Season 1, right? definitely. The other seasons were mediocre, in my opinion, but season 1 wasn't bad. He developed characters. They were developed. He copped out a few times in season 1 where he should have went one way, but he decided to go the other way with it. But he has proven, and as I said, he has actually done a movie that I absolutely love because it's me team. I'm actually missing my football team play tonight to do this panel, Manchester United. But he did the United movie. Now he had all the source material there, but that's a great movie. It's very emotional. He developed those characters. I was crying. He can do it. That's
the thing that's frustrating because we know he can do it. We've seen Churchill. We've seen that.
But it's like as if I don't know. It seems to me, but just he wants to destroy it or something. He just I don't know. I don't get it because he has proven before, whether people agree or not. He did a season of Torchwood that was brilliant as well. So
he has a vendetta against Doctor Who fans. I can tell you that right now. He actively wants to destroy it. The production team actively want to destroy it. They hate the people that would typically be fans of shows like Doctor Who. So for them, it's vengeful. They want to destroy it to take something away, just like they've destroyed everything, like Star Trek,
and Star Wars, and everything else. Yeah, and what they're going to do to Lord of the Rings now too.
Don't forget though that we're talking about he actively had Russell holding his hand all the way through that because that was Russell's baby too.
Yeah, Russell directed everything that happened in Torchwood. Had Chips given him a 13th Doctor type script, he pretty much would have told him to fuck off. But I think there was a lot of rewriting with his scripts.
This is not to say that Chibbs is not capable. As you have said, I thought Broadchurch was phenomenal. I think he is good when it comes to dramas. I think when it comes to sci-fi, he sucks balls.
Yeah.
He doesn't know how to do sci-fi to save his life.
Yeah. Do you guys saw that part? Do you think they're trying to bring Torchwood back? Because did you see at the end where they gave the Doctor, they gave Ryan and Graham psychic paper? Okay, so I think Jack's back, and they also said something about Gwen too.
They've teased Torchwood coming back before.
Yeah,
it's the same thing when we thought Martha was going to become a regular Torchwood person, which she kind of did. I think Mickey
is kind of, like you said.
And it's the same thing at the end of Miracle Day. It was teased that they were coming back, so they've teased the returning of Torchwood before.
Yeah, I know.
I love Torchwood. I have to try and separate Captain Jack from this Captain Jack from that show. I don't want Torchwood to come back. But also, did anybody notice that John Bowerman and Jodie Whittaker had no chemistry whatsoever?
Yes.
Yeah.
You saw that at the start when she was breaking him out. There was it was dead between them.
Yep.
And it was just like,
right.
Me and PD Rich, the minute that scene came up, I was yelling and screaming, and PD's like, mate, what's going on? I was like, oh, you gotta do it. I'm like, oh.
Right, but something did happen though, right at the end of the episode. They said to us, wait for a special Doctor Who announcement.
Yeah, that was
right. You were right. You called it.
And we got to see a little trailer, and of course, surprise, surprise, John Bishop is there. Now, he's a bit British comedian. Now,
British people, you're going to have to explain.
Press office an hour ago just released at John Bishop 100 boards the TARDIS for hashtag Doctor Who Series 13.
Well, they need a new white male to shit on, so.
Yeah, agree.
Now, I've been reading through some of these comments, right? And this is one, and I won't say who it's from, but everybody talks about, the series being inclusive and, for everybody. And then I seen this tweet. You all really couldn't give us an all-woman TARDIS team for one series out of nearly 60 years. And then someone replied back to them, have there even been many all-male teams, right? And then the response is, what I'm trying to say is I would love to have the woman of who shine. It's a little frustrating that they're bringing in a new companion every time Jodie and Mandeep get time to shine by themselves.
They don't shine either. The Mandeep can't act, and like that's just dumb.
No.
And how many times has it been an all-male TARDIS team? Really never, because even when, say, it was the Doctor and Jamie or the Doctor and Turlo, they would be by themselves for part of a story, just to introduce a new companion.
Two doctors.
So it's never been an all-male team.
By the way,
It's
John
never.
Bishop, hold on, something interesting though has developed with John Bishop. So John Bishop recently filmed some scenes. Someone actually captured footage of him running away from Santarans, right? Now, he put up on his Twitter account that he has now contracted the virus. Him and his wife now have been struck down with the virus. But for anybody who doesn't know who John Bishop is,
That would be me.
The non-UK people. Yeah.
right,
Salman's
here's
worst
what I'm
nightmare.
going to show you is who John Bishop is. But his wife and himself, unfortunately, are ill at the moment. So I want to wish him the best. But this is John Bishop. He's a comedian from Liverpool, if I'm correct. So, boo!
He talks like Daffy Duck and Elmer Fudd had a baby.
John, and you know, he filmed scenes recently for Doctor Who. So whether I'm not making any suggestions that they haven't got their protocols right running Doctor Who.
Oh God, they don't. They're idiots. Idiots.
He said he's flattened out by the virus, and thanks to well wishers for their support. He went on Twitter on Wednesday to warn people not to underestimate the bug, describing it as the worst illness I have ever had. Bishop Bishop said he had suffered debilitating headaches, muscle joint, and even skin pain, dizziness, nausea, no appetite, incredibly chronic fatigue. My wife and I are fitting on
the script, Noel.
and this has freaking up. Yeah, well, it doesn't. I'm just telling you anyway. But there you go.
I hope they
he's
do
read
well
Chibnall's
because
script.
So yeah, he probably did balls straight, but
That's not COVID. That's a script.
but it is kind of strange that he did film scenes recently, and there has been footage put up all over Twitter that now he is sick. So they want to get their act together there if this is going on, because it could shut down the whole production. And to be quite honest with you, they don't need that right now. And if that does happen, it could signal the end. But John Bishop is going to be in series 13 of Doctor Who. He's a comedian, but I think he is funny, but I don't understand. I don't understand why they're bringing him into Doctor Who. Is he trying to do Matt Lucas now, Chibnall, with John Bishop? Is this what it's going to be?
Novel approach, yeah.
He is a good comedian, actor-wise. I'm going to be honest here. I've never seen him in acting-wise, so I don't know what his acting credentials are like. Maybe so. The third Doctor actually could tell us if he has any acting credentials.
Why do they feel like they need to bring in name power? Like, why can't they just have a good actor playing a good character developed on its own instead of just... Because when you see that, you don't identify with the character. You just go, oh, that's John Bishop. It's the same thing with Graham, and I feel bad because Bradley Walsh is a generally sweet guy. But when you see him, you're like, oh, that's Bradley Walsh, not Graham O'Brien.
Yeah.
Like, what's the point?
It's a crutch for Whittaker. I think it's something for her to
it is.
Yeah. She
It is.
on her own. Whether or not they're just lining up John Bishop so they can hear him say monster names in Scouse. You know, it's a Dalek.
I've heard
Yeah, it's definitely not iconography. Definitely not iconography.
I heard someone say his accent was really thick. Is it really that bad?
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Nightmare.
is.
That's nightmare.
Yeah, it's Liverpool. He talks a bit like Liverpool, you know. It's kind of
Really
like that.
thick,
They are bad at doing accents, so you can imagine it's.
So now they're going to have a character that
Well,
nobody
here's
can
the- here's
understand.
the thing, I have to
Yeah,
say this,
pretty
like,
much.
See, here's the funny thing. When they brought Catherine Tate in, she wasn't a crutch with David. They worked together. They were in sync. She made the show better. I don't know if when he comes in, like you said, he's just going to be a crutch to like boost up the already failing show, you know?
I mean, I get that Catherine Tate had her own sketch comedy show, and it could have gone bad.
Am I bothered?
But the thing was, she had Russell to write
Yeah,
an amazing
that's true.
character for her to play that
Yeah,
was perfect
sorry
for
about that.
her and fit with David so seamlessly.
Yeah.
She was exactly what he needed at that point after what happened with, Rose and then the Martha debacle. She was exactly the breath of fresh air that he needed to give him that kick in the pants, you know?
Oh, it's
Yeah.
true.
So if you had Catherine Tate come in now with Chris, there would be no real development. It would just be, hey, that's Catherine Tate.
Someone in the chat has said that John Bishop did serious acting in 2 episodes of Accused, so I'm not worried. So, well, then there you go. He has some acting chops then. But I still don't get it. I don't. I mean, if the main character can't be funny and witty, well then, and you have to bring someone in to do it. No.
Yeah.
I just don't get this. But we'll wait and see.
You called it though, no. You called this one.
Yeah. We'll just see what the trailer, because I don't know when we'll get a trailer
You told
now.
us a few weeks ago this was going to happen.
Yeah.
From your context. So dead on again, mate. Spot on.
Yeah. Well, I didn't want to bring that up, but
Yeah, spot on. Hit another one.
Still though.
He knocked another one out of the park there.
Yeah, 3-0 to all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jodie Whittaker has already been praised by John Bishop, says Emma. Emma is a Jodie Whittaker fan, and she liked this episode. So I'm delighted for her.
Yeah, I'm glad to like it.
Because she's been looking for something. Because she's even said it herself. She hasn't been pleased with Chibnall, and she was happy with tonight. It wasn't as bad as she thought it was going to be as well. And I think that's how I feel. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I was surprised.
There is one little thing though that I have to take issue with, and I'm surprised I'm even taking issue with it because you know how much of a Rose fan I am. I'm glad we got the Rose mention because I was certain there was going to be something in there, and there was no way that he could look at her with the blonde hair and the same height and the same eye color and not think, "Wow, you must have modeled yourself after Rose." But he didn't mention her for that reason. He mentioned her to explain to them that he was immortal, and I'm like, this is another situation of tell, not show.
Yeah.
You should be. It would have had more meaning if the Dalek had shot you and you died and then came back to life, and they were like, "What the fuck?" That would have been a little more, instead of just you telling them where it has no meaning to them whatsoever, and then telling them about Rose has no meaning to them whatsoever because they don't know her. And I was surprised. I know the doctor heard him say it, mention Rose, and not say a word.
Yeah, I was shocked.
I didn't like that.
He brought up Rose and Gwen in the same, almost in the same within 5 minutes. And he's like, "Oh yeah, Gwen has a kid now and everything." I was like, "What?"
The only reactions among the three was Yaz. It's interesting that he mentioned a past companion, Rose, who he describes as a friend. Yeah, okay. I will just not get into that. And Yaz, look at my icon. Come on now. And Yaz is kind of like, huh? And then the thing with Gwen and Yaz is, huh? Like, where are we going here? Like, really, where are we going here? Because I know a lot of you guys don't like the idea of romance in the TARDIS. I would only accept it if it was properly developed. That's why I'm a Dr. Rose fan, because it was properly developed. It's another reason why I don't like River Song, not properly developed. If they throw her together with Yaz,
It's going to happen bad.
Before anybody tries to bash me for being homophobic, I am not in any way, shape, or form. But look, I wouldn't care as long as, like I said, it was properly developed. It is not. It is not. It would just be awkward and quite frankly humiliating, because the Doctor doesn't feel that way for her at all. Like, at all. I'll grant maybe Yaz does. Sure. Okay, fine. But I just don't see a reciprocation there. I feel like they're just throwing shit in to check off a box to get more people, to watch.
That's the reason why I think John was brought in. Basically.
Yeah.
There is a lot of iconography. The people they're aiming for aren't really going to buy in as these characters go. They'll bugger off to another program. And as been said before, these people that they're pandering to, they're a minority. I don't mean gay people or anything like that, but I'm saying that the certain people seem to wear it out. They aren't the mass audience, and they're certainly the ones that buy the merchandise. And they've seen that already. But it's just sticking. You're absolutely right.
I mean, the whole thing with Rose made sense because of what he had gone through with the Time War. It was perfectly developed. The whole thing with River Song, I don't want to get into that here. That's a whole other podcast. But
yeah.
Seriously, that's a whole other podcast of reasons why I violently hate her. Because her whole storyline is illogical, nonsensical, and ridiculously stupid. But look, if you're gonna pair him up, her, whatever, with somebody in the TARDIS, it needs to make sense. It needs to make sense. If it does not make sense and you're just doing it for brownie points to get more people to watch, I feel sorry for you because you're destroying a show for ratings you think you're going to get, but you're not really going to get for a very small minority of people who probably don't even really care.
Well, it's the same thing as Star Wars and Star Trek, and what they're going to do with the Lord of the Rings. They're doing it for a small minority, and Norn, all the fans have been around there for 40-some years that have actually kept them in business. Just like Dr. Who, it's the same thing.
Gary said the same thing.
For me personally, I think the best New Who companion Doctor relationship, if you want to call it that, was Donna and David Tennant's Doctor. I don't believe that the Doctor should be romantically linked. I've always been like that. It doesn't matter whether it's Rose or anybody else. I don't like that. Never have. When it was with Martha, didn't like it either. I thought the best dynamic was between Catherine Tate and David Tennant, and I think it played off really well with the audience. I mean, Series 4 is actually one of the more popular Russell T. Davis era seasons, and the reason for that was because they got rid of all of that romantic nonsense. I don't think. Look, he's immortal, right? Or she's immortal, or whatever, right? At the end of the day, getting into relationships like that is unfair for the other side because they will die. Doctor will carry on. So I don't want that nonsense. As we always say on this channel, no hanky-panky in the TARDIS.
That's it.
That's why,
the dynamic of the Doctor Donna, a Doctor and Donna Noble always. That's the benchmark. That's how we move this show forward, and you get everybody watching it because everybody watched it. It was a friendship. That's what the Doctor really needs. It's a friendship.
You're not going to make with me, Spaceman.
And that's why he gave her himself, because that was the only way that he could be with her in a way that would work. Because like you said, eventually she is going to grow old and she's going to die, and there's no way that he could cope being with her like that and then watching her die. So giving her a version of himself that was human, that could love her in the way she deserved to be loved and be with her the way she, that she wanted him to be with her. It was the only way.
I agree with you, and that's the way to handle it, though. And it was handled properly by RTD. So I didn't mind that. She did get the Doctor in the end, but she got a human, a version that would grow old with her. So
it doesn't mean, but it doesn't necessarily mean that he didn't love her. He went to his death loving her. Period.
Yeah, I know, I get that, but I was fine with the way RTD resolved it. You know what I mean? I don't think that I just don't like a romantic attachment. I never have. I just prefer the friendship side of it. That's what the Doctor really needs, is a friend to guide them when they're, like that scene with Donna when, the Arachnid episode, wasn't it? No, not the Arachnid episode. The Queen Spider thing. What's her name? When he was going to Donna was the one that pulled him out of there. If Donna hadn't pulled him out of there and said, no, he would have went too far. He would have died, because we've seen it in Torn Left. That's what would have happened if she wasn't there. That's what the Doctor needs, a friend in those critical moments. That's why the companion's supposed to be there, to humanize the Doctor.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. That's the reason why he had Sarah Jane around. When Tom was the Doctor, Sarah Jane put the human part touch with Tom,
That's why one of the best scenes in New Who I think they've ever done was in Dalek, when Eccleston was facing off against that Dalek and he had that big fucking gun.
Oh yeah, I love that part.
And Rose was the only thing that was keeping him from killing it.
Yeah.
And even though she understood that the Dalek was evil, she still had enough compassion, not just for the Dalek, but for the Doctor, because she didn't want him to become that. So she did what she had to by standing her ground, and she made him see that he was doing wrong, because she didn't want him to turn into that Dalek by killing it. If she hadn't been there, I'm afraid that he might have shot it and got progressively more dark, because he was heading down that road,
Well, think about that in Genesis of the Daleks, when Tom had the two wires in his hands and he goes, do I have the right to kill a whole species? And he had the companions there to help him. Once again, in the Genesis of the Daleks, they helped him, but he had to go through that on his own, but they did help him because of everything they went through in Genesis of the Daleks,
But now you see, she doesn't have to do it herself. She doesn't take on that responsibility for herself. She lets her companions do it for her.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You notice after she sent the signal, she really didn't do jack shit else except stand around.
Yeah.
All the companions were the ones that set the explosives, that blew up the ship. The only thing she did was program the TARDIS. I wondered what they were going to do with that extra one. I guess we figured it out. Is that the one that became the tree or the one that became the house?
The one that became the house, because that was from the thing. Me and PD were discussing that.
Yeah, we said about that.
It was very clever, though. The way she did trick the Daleks, that was very clever.
But no, she's the last. Gallifrey's apparently gone again, and she's just destroyed another TARDIS. It's like, goes another TARDIS
for the greater good, though.
I know.
They can't have more than one. Well, they still got one extra one. It
was her responsibility to clean up the mess, because she made the mess in the first place.
Whoa.
She signaled the bronze Daleks to come back and take out the other Daleks. So, I mean, she had to think of a plan, and I thought that was very clever. I thought the switcheroo, I thought that was very clever. I thought that
was once we figured out what you
in the episode. I thought that switcheroo was great. But it wasn't.
At first, when they all went flooding in, I was like, no, because one of the problems with the past two seasons is become too incredibly easy for villains to get into and
the TARDIS, yeah,
which is supposed to be impenetrable. Not even the hordes of Genghis Khan and all that. So when all the Daleks went in, I was like, "You've got to be kidding me!" But when I realized what she had actually done, I was like, "Oh, that's fucking brilliant."
Yeah, if you go back, I was while me and PD Rich were watching the episode, I was like, "What the fuck? She just let them all in the TARDIS?"
That's what I'm saying. Things like that surprised, that genuinely surprised me. I was like, she's leading the Daleks into the TARDIS, and that, I have to be honest, I wasn't expecting it. And then when I seen what she did, I was like, all right, that's clever. That was
bloody brilliant.
It was. And then the TARDIS crushing up and everything. That looked brilliant. I have to be honest, it did. It was nice to see that TARDIS interior as well. The Joe Martin TARDIS interior, wasn't it? Yeah, that's my favorite. That's I like that better than the one that Jodie's in. To be quite honest with you, I wish the Switch actually did that.
Oh, that TARDIS is going to come back. You do know that, right? They're saving Joe still. Joe's not gone. I'm saying that right now. She's going to pop up again whenever they do this next season. So be prepared for that.
Yeah.
Either Jodie's gonna die, she turns into Joe, or they're gonna get somebody else and he's gonna go back to being a guy. That's the only two ways I see about it going on.
The only other issue that I had with this was the increasing level of stupidity of the human race.
Oh yeah, let's clone a Dalek. What the hell?
Really? Okay. I know that after the Rebel era was over with, that the whole crack in the wall thing was supposed to reset the universe so nobody remembers the end of time or stolen Earth, blah, 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 whatever the fuck. But I'm sorry, how many fucking times can this planet be invaded before they wise up? Like, I know that humanity has shown a serious level of ignorance, but to this level, this level.
If you think about it, Torchwood and Unit don't exist anymore. So,
and if they did, they would never have let this happen.
The Doctor is basically the only one to save that planet.
How did the human race? When the Prime Minister shows off these Daleks, why they all having panic thinking that the aliens that invaded the planet, how many times now? So that actually did annoy me. Why weren't they all running around screaming? Why did they just accept this when being invaded by that? You know what I mean? But the cloning thing, it was a bit. I liked. Do you know what? When he cloned the first one and he was shown what's his face's character? I forget what his name is. But when he comes in and he shows him what he's created, look, there was a creature and I've cloned it. That blew me away. I was like, why would you? You're right though. Why would you clone it? That's why I was blown away. Why would you do something stupid like that? That's what.
And I was saying that to PD Rich. I was like, he cloned a bloody fucking Dalek? How did he? And then I said, oh, that dude's gonna be a red shirt right away. He's red shirt. He's dead. And I was like, they're dead. And the only one I didn't get right was I thought the Prime Minister was going to be Ronnie or something. And then she got killed. And I was like, oh, shit, I didn't see that one coming.
I mean, I get he doesn't know what a Dalek is, so he doesn't know any better. But when he finished cloning the thing and it was fully grown in that tank that he showed, Trump,
he tried to push it out,
Trump clone. You would have thought, just by seeing that, even if you don't know what a Dalek is, the feeling you get inside you when you look at one of those things is enough to terrify you. Even if you don't know what it's capable of, just that eerie feeling that just creeps inside of you whenever you look at one. I don't understand how he could look at that thing and not know right off the bat that this ain't right.
Yeah.
No one is that dumb. Like, really, no one is that dumb.
Yeah. and then try to dispose of it the way he did. Opens the box, it jumps on him. It's like,
and then it drops, and I was like, "Oh yeah,
stick your head this egg
Klutz.
while you're at it."
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh, he's dead. Red shirt right away."
Robbie Red Shirt, we call it.
Just what you think of the mutant Daleks, the clown Daleks? What did you think of them?
They look too much like face huggers from Aliens.
Yeah, and I was
much.
like, they did the face hugger. I was like, that's like cloning an alien resurrection where they clone the aliens, and I was like, are you nuts?
Yeah.
I will say the creep factor was on point though, because the way they did it in Resolution last year was shitty, but this time the creep factor was on point, and I'm going to hand that to maybe the writing being a little bit better. And I don't know who this guy is that was doing the acting, but he was definitely a step up. Like,
he was in a show on E4 called Misfits a few years ago, which is a sci-fi.
Misfits was awesome.
He's a brilliant actor. So he was the one that I was actually looking out to see Woody's performance, because he is a great actor. So I was hoping that the writing was at some level that he'd be good and shine, because I really like him as an actor. But he killed him bloody off. That pissed me off.
I called it too. I was like, he's dead.
That was problematic because he was black. They killed him.
I would like to leave him alive and make him like the Emperor, controlling all the Daleks. But
with all the knowledge that he obviously had, he found these leading Daleks. Like, he could have been some use. They could have used him for later on in Series 13 or something. But you know what I mean? They could have done something.
But no.
Great actor, I have to be honest with you.
Yeah, the first minute that he came up, I was like, me and Rich, and the episode just started, and he came up, and I was like, red shirt, and Rich was cracking up. I was like, red shirt right away. And he goes, okay. I was like, red shirt, boom, right away. I was like, he'll probably get it about a half an hour, 45 minutes into the episode.
Nailed that.
And bam! About 45 minutes into the episode, bam, he bit the dust. And he's like, how did you call that? I was like, I know my sci-fi.
I have to be honest, I got the same vibe from the PM. Well, at first she was a minister of technology, and then after a year she became the you know when a PM gets a bit big for their britches on Doctor Who, they're like to die, and she bit that.
Well, that one I didn't call that one. That one slipped by me.
Oh,
I knew as soon as she started talking big for her, I want this, and if you don't do it, I'm going to make sure that everybody knows that you're not paying taxes, and I don't want $1 of it to come out of the British taxpayers' pockets. It's like, bitch is going to die.
No, my favorite part, to be honest, my favorite part was when she comes out and she says, "Oh, we know there's a few glitches, but we have it under control." Then the Daleks show up, right? And she goes and she uses the line, "We'll never surrender." And then she just gets obliterated.
She just gets murked off the map.
You deserve that anyway. Served you right. What did you do to become Prime Minister? Yeah, you deserved it. But again,
probably gave a few handies or something.
I will say one thing again with certain characters in this episode, and I will be fair and say this: Prime Minister's character development to get where she did was shoddy at best. To be honest with you,
it was.
I mean, like, if you're gonna do, the rise of someone, it's gonna take more than one episode. But this is a festive special, so it's a bit longer. And this was the longest festive special, I think, as well, wasn't it? It was an extra 15 minutes.
Yeah, because Gary was saying something, and I was talking to Rich, and I was like, Gary's already done? And then I looked back, and I was like, no, the show's not over yet. Gary just marked it off right away.
Do you think they were trying to pattern this PM character after, I don't know, Theresa May? Just a smidge?
Yeah.
Rich, who did you say?
Harriet Jones and Theresa
May. Me and Rich were talking about Harriet Jones.
Hey, we do not besmirch the name of Harriet Jones.
It was
two names. Harriet Jones and this Prime Minister have nothing in common. Yes, Harriet Jones did take out those aliens, but I could understand why she did, because she is right. The Doctor is not always around, so someone has to defend, you know?
Yeah.
So I got that. And by the way, she paid for it with her life and she made up for it anyway. This Prime Minister, she wasn't modelled off. Theresa May, maybe, yes, because, you know, a lot of people do believe that she got an unfair whip. But I think a lot of people in Britain would have enjoyed that, to be quite honest with you. But,
Theresa May, as we like to call her.
It shocked me how in certain scenes, look, I agree with Wolf and Storm. I think the scare factor in this was on point this year. It did feel creepy, especially when he went to that factory in Osaka, Japan. And then they look up and you just see all the clown Dalek. Like, I have to be honest.
Did you hear the Osaka joke, the Japan joke they had in the show too? Me and Rich were laughing about that too.
Squatting in a Japanese lab is my new favorite saying.
Yeah, we were like cracking up, and we were like, "Did you just hear that joke?" He's like, "Yeah."
That's what I'm saying. There was some moments in this as well.
Speaking of different locations around the country, I hope we already learned our lesson from Praxia. Stop with the location title cards.
Did you guys notice when they were going in the hallways? That was part of the BBC too.
Studio, and the lab was a BBC studio.
Yeah, they filmed some of that in one of the actual office studios there.
Yeah, it's like I just walked into Studio 5. It's a lab. It's Studio 5.
What is the necessity for the location title cards? What? Why?
I don't understand them either. I don't understand them either.
Location title cards. We don't need to know.
Not necessary at all.
No.
If people are following the story, you don't need that.
This isn't Fringe. This isn't fucking Fringe.
Yeah.
I need to know every time they go to a different city or country. They're saying they're going to Japan. I got it. Because your audience actually has brain cells. Like, we can think.
Yeah, it's a little bit of Japanese vibe to the music as well. That's what you got to do. They can't do anything with the music. It's just the same old, same old. Oh, that's
they should have done. They should have done. We're turning Japanese. I really think so.
No. This era has not been good when it comes to humor.
In that Japanese laboratory, though, I think they had in the background the sound effects from the incubation room in Genesis, which I thought.
I was noticing that too. I said because I was pointing out all this stuff from me and Rich, and I was like, do you know they're just like picking and choosing, just like Star Wars does with the EU. I was just like,
exactly.
If you go back to Eccleston in Dalek, and he asks what the nearest city is, and I think he says it's Salt Lake City, population 1 million, and one Dalek can wipe it out.
Yeah.
And the Doctor's desperate that the Dalek doesn't escape. Yeah. And then this Doctor brings an entire ship full to Earth. And puts an enormous amount of people at risk. And
there was that,
it blows up, because it's going to leave. Yeah.
Okay, do you know that prison asteroid that she was in? I thought, this is me, I thought that was the Time Lord's prison that they were going to put in the 1979-1980 season when Tom was there, but they didn't put it in because of the writer's strike. So that's what I thought the prison was going to be.
Yeah, but Shada has been used.
Yeah, I thought that's what it was going to be.
Finished audios, but the thing is, I think Shada went down with the Time War. I don't think it even exists anymore.
Shada,
so that's what I thought it was going to be.
I thought it was a storm cage.
Yeah, that's going back a long time, and I said that to somebody. Somebody was like, "Wow, dude, you actually know your Doctor Who?" And I was like, "Yep."
You want to put her in a prison that's going to give her some serious issues? Put her in Bollock Knock. That's like the prison of prisons.
Oh, I know.
They made it seem so light and fluffy, and all she would do was sit in the room all day, and then
it was basically Arkham Asylum. That's what it was.
She would walk down the little corridor thing saying, hello, camera 37. Hello, camera 38. I'm like, okay. And then she'd walk in and let's see, we saw a weeping angel. We saw a Sycorax. We saw a silence, a pating.
Yeah. Ood.
An ood.
A couple of angry oods, yeah. Shannon did grab her through the bar and just beat her up a bit. Rough her up a bit. There we go.
Apparently, this was supposed to be their exercise time. I shudder to think what would have happened if they had let the walls down. They all would have just killed each other.
Everyone just piles on Jodie.
I just thought that it should have been.
Angel would need exercise time.
I just thought that if it's a prison, it should look and feel like a prison, like not like a museum.
Hello, everyone. I was away for a bit.
That's all right.
Okay.
I do, however, think it was interesting that somehow the keepers of the prison figured out a way to make the angel not be able to use its abilities because she blinked at it. And
I was thinking about that too. I was like, okay, why did the angel's powers go off right there? I was like,
it had something connected to the back of it, some kind of wires, red wires.
Yeah,
something that made it that it was incapacitating their powers, I guess.
Yeah.
I still think the angels are time lords, the banished time lords or something. I don't, that's my feeling on that one.
I like Rabbi's Castrovalva thing.
Yeah.
The Malkas are actually reaping angels.
Well, for all the good stuff in the second half, the first half just could have been done a little bit better. Like I said, it strains logic that he just shows up out of nowhere. No, there's no way to know how he got in other than I committed some crimes, but it doesn't explain how he knew she was there.
He actually
what did he do either?
Yeah, he came in like a fart in the wind, basically.
We don't know how he knew that was her because he's not ever seen her face unless he's been there so long that he managed to figure it out.
I didn't see one prison warden either, or a Jadoon.
No.
And then or how he managed to sneak in that time ball. You would think as prisoners they would divest you of anything that it could be remotely considered weaponry.
Yeah.
So wait a minute.
There should have been a line about sticking up. Yeah.
No, knowing Jack.
Yeah, knowing Jack. Yeah, he'd do that.
Yeah, Jack would he's like, hey, I gotta sneak this in so the doctor and me can get out,
that tiny little laser gun.
And you would hear Jack going, come on, Jack, you know you can do this. Don't act like it's the first time. Come on. Talking to himself like that.
This hyper-secure sci-fi prison doesn't do a cavity search is a little bit hard to digest, I think.
Yeah, he did the same thing in Russell T. Davis era where he's on the game station.
In Bad Wolf with that little gun. Yeah. They're like, where did you get that in here? You don't know.
It's a compact, yeah, but I thought his big gun was out of power.
Yeah.
I thought it was out of ammo.
We said that too. We're like, wasn't it out of power?
Line he's actually coming from. Did he come from the normal timeline and just went back, or did he come from he obviously, I don't know, maybe when she sent out the signal, he tracked the signal somehow. I don't know. I don't know. But look, that wasn't explained how he just appeared out of nowhere. But I have to say, I honestly thought, I know Ballstreck thinks differently, but I don't think his character is being completely destroyed, which is...
what character was destroyed?
Captain Jack.
Oh, no, he wasn't destroyed because I've divorced him from this is not the Torchwood Captain Jack that we like. This is, I'm calling this one Captain Desperate. Captain Desperate really wants Captain Jack to go back so badly that Captain Desperate would subject himself to this. I don't even think Bowerman even knows what the hell's going on. He's like, because he's... and here's the question. But wait, they brought back a straight white dude? Well, he's white. He's a dude. He's not straight. That's why he was allowed.
Yeah, Yeah. Also, they did comment on the Cybermen. You did take that thing from the Cyberman, didn't you? Thing from the last series. Commented on that as well, and she just gave him such a stern look. It's like, oh, Jesus.
Yeah, no, I just ignored it for the entire human race, but
yeah, pretty much.
But, you know, as much as I would like Jack to be back on a more permanent basis, like with Torchwood, I have to be honest with myself that there's only so far that he might be able to do it for a couple more years, but there's only so much hair dye that John's hair can afford.
Yeah, it's completely white now.
Yeah. He's supposed to not age, but he ages. Oh yeah, people have asked in the chat, am I doing a video? Yes, I'm doing a video, but it's going to be a woke Batman style video because I don't give a shit.
They even went so far as to make a joke of it. You know, she says to him, the first thing she says, have you had work done? Speak for yourself.
They cut that line out. The Yaz line, didn't they?
Well, don't forget one of the things that Jack asked the Doctor at the end of Last of the Time Lords was, I know that I'm immortal and I can't die, but every so often I still see the occasional gray hair. Does that mean that I can still age? And the Doctor's like, I don't know. So this would kind of explain it. That you know, if you do believe that the fates of Bo is Jack, which I do, that he will age, albeit very slowly over time. Very slowly.
And I still think they're going to set that up to where he becomes it in the next series or series after that.
He mentioned where he was from again, didn't they?
Yeah.
So I think there is hints, to be quite honest with you. I think something more is coming for Captain Jack.
I've said that. He's going to lose his body and be put in the tank at some point. I'm telling it.
I think there's some sort of extended universe storyline where his head gets cut off by somebody. His body dies, but his head is still alive. And that's why his head is in that jar.
Or something.
It's kind of funny. I'm looking at my Twitter feed right now, and nobody watched it.
But I mean, the point is, I think John could probably pull off a resurgence of Torchwood, maybe another 2 or 3 years max. And this is mostly because John is in his 50s now. There's only so far he can keep pulling this off before he just gets too old to do it. And I know,
kind of like the Undertaker, you know.
I know, knowing John, that he could be in a wheelchair and be 85, and you could call him and he would still say yes because it's John and he loves it. But the point is that you've kind of painted yourself into a corner when you're talking about a character that's immortal and can't die.
They did it with Highlander, though, didn't they? Everyone was aging really fast. Yeah. Highlander Endgame, it was like, you know, Christopher Lambert in Highlander Endgame looked terrible for an immortal.
Unless
they don't really explain that whole bit.
Well, they also said that I'm going to say a bad word right now. In Picard, when they said Data, why did Data age? Well, the person that played Data aged. This is like 10, 20 years after Next Gen. Okay.
Well, they did try to de-age him. They just did a terrible job.
Yeah, they did do a terrible job at it. Sorry for saying that. I'm sorry for saying that bad word there, guys.
Oh, hey, here's this is on Twitter, unironically, the big gay adventures of Yaz and 13. This person is actually serious.
Hey, Bull, did you hear my little line? I call it, it's going to be the Adventures of the Scissor Sisters. That's mine.
I could see that.
I highly doubt it. I mean, considering they're going to have another companion in there, I highly doubt it. And there's only 8 episodes, 7 and another special. He wouldn't have the time. There would be too much going on. So I highly doubt it.
John Bishop is actually going to sound like Hollyoaks now.
Especially when you consider, how much time they're going to devote to Yaz's mental health issues, whatever the fuck they are.
Right,
Well,
let's
John
get
Rush, a painter and decorator, he'll be just doing their new bedroom, won't he? They'll just paint their bedroom.
I'm still cruising to Twitter. Yeah, so no talk about how great the episode was. The current fan base, all they're excited about is literally the Doctor and Yaz boinking.
Yeah.
It's like it's so sad and funny.
Yeah, it is.
And so I don't care. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, Doctor Who's supposed to be a show about a man in a box. Now it's about Yaz and Dr. 13 boinking. I don't care. Boink all you want. Actually, I don't want to see that. Okay, I'll skip that episode.
And then that's what tells you that I'm not going to paint a broad brush and say it's all of those fans, but quite a few of them are fans that don't actually like the show for the show. They like it for...
None of them do. You say, so do you like John Pertwee? Who? What about William Hartnell? Who's that?
Yeah, they don't
They
know.
like it for what they can get out of it.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
It's like, what the fuck is going on over there at the BBC? Like, it's past the point of parody. It's just so sad.
So any word from is there any word from the BBC about whether or not the license fee is going away? Have they made a decision?
Well, Boris Johnson was supposed to get rid of it. Why it's still there, I had no idea. I just wanted. I don't care about Doctor Who being saved at this point. I just want it canceled so I can laugh my ass off when all these incompetent people that were hired not for their talent or ability or anything else, but because of the checklist. I wanted to see these people get thrown out into the real world and have to find a real job and realize they're fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
The
folks.
license fee gets renewed every 5 years, so it's not a thing that they do annually. They have a charter that I think is new.
It's what, 3 years is the next renewal?
Yeah, I think it's something like that. And it
I guess it's 2 years now.
Yeah, it can't come soon enough to be quite honest. But I mean, with Chibnall, if JNT had been getting the Sixth Doctor, getting it on with Master and a tub of Vaseline, then when you had Chibnall on that TV show where he was slagging off JNT in the series, he would have gone crazy about that, sex in the TARDIS, gay sex in the TARDIS and all that. He would have gone mental. But now that he's in charge of it, he is just there to destroy. He's become everything that he was arguing against in the 80s. He's just an arrogant hypocrite. He really is. He's just
certainly is.
Horrendous.
Right, folks, can we get everybody's rating for this festive special, and then we'll let you do our shout outs and we will wrap it up, because we do it all again on Sunday with the TARDIS Zone Talks. So if you want to call in and let me know if anybody else watched and what you thought of the episode, you are more than welcome to come on and tell me how you all felt about it. Right, boss.
Nobody watched it. It's actually kind of funny.
All right, come on. What will you rate this one, Megan?
Who?
You. We'll start with you.
I will give it 1.5 runny shits out of 10. Let's see. What was good about it? It was in color. It was technically in HD, but it was shot so badly now you can't really tell because everything is slightly soft and out of focus.
It's HD stands for heavy dump.
Yeah, it had sound. It was on TV. It was edited, sort of. Mm-hmm. It had a soundtrack, which is usually just banging on a keyboard, because don't forget, Akinol's a fucking genius. My dog could write a better soundtrack.
Your dog can fart a better soundtrack too. Yeah.
Yep. So I'm very happy with the representation. I was glad that I didn't see many white people at all amongst the extras, so that's a good thing. I'm really excited to watch the Doctor and Yaz scissor themselves with help from what's his face. It was just I got nothing. That's it. 1.5 out of 10.
No problem. Wolfenstorm.
Well, I'm like you, Noel. I actually thought there was some merit to this. So I would say, not like I said, not that there wasn't problems. I would probably give it a 5 out of 10 because the scare factor was on point. I have to give props to Nicholas Briggs. All the fucking awards to Nicholas Briggs. God, that man is a Dalek genius. For all of his work, for being able to see my favorite Daleks, the bronze ones. I will always give a thumbs up for that. I thought for that Jodie was okay. Like she finally, maybe not an oncoming storm, maybe an oncoming drizzle. This time, she's getting close, but not quite there. But it was more than what we've seen of her over the last 2+ years. And there was definitely some emotional impact with them saying goodbye to Yaz and not Yaz, to Graham and Ryan. So there was some good stuff, but the editing, like I said, was choppy. It went on far too long and needed to be cut down, and there was a lot of illogical things in here that made very little sense. So yeah, I would say I'm kind of middle of the road with a 5.
No problem. Let's do PD Rich next, please.
I'm kind of if Resolution I gave about a 5 or a 6 to because it was a cherry on top of the big pile of shit. This would be the piece of sweet corn sticking out the side of that pile of shit, so I'm going to give it a 4. I just thought the verisimilitude of the new yes, it was Doctor Who, but there's so many little stupid things, like things just looking like TV studios being reused, and the new Dalek manipulator arm that do absolutely fuck all. Brand new manipulator arm, what's it do? Oh, it just sits there. It's like just it just baffled me. It's just like so rough around the edges. It could have been really good. It just needed more polishing.
Definitely.
Yeah, just needed a big polish.
Jed.
I give the bloody show a 2 because it did have some funny jokes in there, but
were they meant to be funny?
Oh, I don't think they were meant to be funny. I just think they got random jokes and they got it. Like in Tommy Boy. What did he say in Tommy Boy? You can have a pile of shit and shine it up with gold, but it's still going to be a pile of shit, So it's just, I can't. What a day, huh? So yeah, I'm done.
I think I'd give it a 2.5, and that's for any of the scenes that don't involve Jodie Whittaker. I'm getting. I love the Daleks. You might have guessed the Daleks, but I'm getting bored with the bronze ones. And it's sort of like greatest hits in that respect. Just go if they're the SAS Dalek death ones, then they go out there and they kill everything, yet they still seem to just stand there and say exterminate, 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 and then maybe fire. But yeah, it was not what I would think would set the world on fire. Maybe if they set Jodie Whittaker on fire, maybe I would have enjoyed it more, but no, 2.5, that'll be it for me, I think.
Did anybody else notice the Daleks had tits and the silver ones? They had 2 nipples. There was 2 points where the nipples should be.
No, I noticed the douches on them though. Every Dalek's got a douche on its right arm now. It looks like a douche and does absolutely nothing.
But if you just look at it though, seeing the clone Daleks that were supposed to go inside. If you look at the size of the Dalek casing and where the Dalek creature itself is supposed to go and how big they were in those glass cases, that's not going to work.
And they all
it didn't make
teleport
sense.
as well.
All fit in there.
Teleportation as well. All the Daleks can teleport now.
Yeah, I
Right.
flipped out. The minute I saw that, I was like, they can bloody teleport now? What the
It's just
hell?
so dumb.
What the hell does the UV light have to do with anything? I'm sorry, I didn't see resolution, so I don't know the whole plot point.
Yeah.
It's just
Nicholas Horton
what
brings
it's
up.
meant to be.
Go ahead.
There was no reason for that factory being in Osaka. It was just
Yeah.
let's throw in a separate location in Dewsbury. No,
It didn't even look
or-
like Osaka.
No, probably in
It looked
Dewsbury.
like Wales. Yeah, it probably was. But it looked like the studio, inside it looked like the studio in Wales, so there we go.
Nicholas Horton with a £5 super chat says the drones using that smoke chin balls ripped that from the Cushing movies.
Yeah. But find smoke out his douche.
Cushing's doctor carries far more gravitas than Whitaker ever did,
Oh yeah.
and he was playing it for laughs in many ways.
Yeah. Oh, he was great, he was. We turned around to
And
Roy
he got
Castle.
back, wasn't he?
Yeah, he turned around. Roy Castle was really nervous on the first shoot. He turned around to Roy Castle and said, he goes, you know what, Roy, I get really nervous before the first take. And it just completely pepped Roy Castle up. That's the kind of person Peter Cushing was. He was brilliant.
Yeah, class.
Absolute class actor. Brilliant guy.
Right, folks, I think we'll leave it there and we'll give everybody a chance to shout out, use our channels. We'll be back
What's
tomorrow
going
on Monday. What?
What's
What's
tomorrow's Back to the Future?
Oh, no, I'm doing my own review, separate. I won't be giving
All right.
me mark tonight.
Don't forget your
Okay.
rating, Noel. You haven't given us
No,
your
I
one
won't
yet.
be giving any rating because I'm going to be doing my own review and giving.
You should go to the litmus test.
So I just wanted to let everybody else
Your channel.
talk tonight and get their points of view across. I will have my video probably Sunday. I'll drop it Sunday maybe. So if you want to shout out, use our channels now. We'll start with Ballstrick. Ballstrick, do you want to let everybody know what you have up and coming on your channel? I think I can guess. But
I'm still going through Twitter watching these people wank themselves dry. God help humanity. I got a channel. Guess I'll be making some videos. The only reason I subjected myself to this pile of ass today was so I could make my video. Maybe tomorrow if I'm lucky, but more likely than not the day after, which is what day is that? It's Sunday, the day of God. Good God. We'll have it on the day of God. Fuck my life. It's going to be fun. What else am I doing, Noel?
I don't know what I'm doing.
Ask Father Chris McMillan what he thinks of it.
I'm sure we'll have Ballstrick on for the classic, if he's still on for that.
Probably, when you get back to them, I probably won't be doing streams tomorrow because it's going to take an entire day to put the video together, which means I get to spend many an hour with this.
Yeah, that's right. You're going to be very busy, actually. I forgot that, yeah.
Yeah, I could be lazy, but no.
Ballstrick, take your time, mate. Gary's doing that with Star Trek Picard.
How many months has it been? Gary's been doing his Picard episode. It's been like 6-7 months.
It'll come out. I just it's to the point where
It'll be like 2 seconds long. Shit.
Oh wait! Oh yeah, I forgot. Batman comes back on January 7th. So there will be, January 17th. So there will be a woke Batman review for that. So that's going to be fun. So
See
how they squeeze her into somebody else's outfit,
Yeah, it's
black mannequin. Yeah.
Well, you guys know where I am on YouTube. You can catch me on The Wolf and the Storm. I'm always on Twitter, Wolf and Storm 78. I will probably likely be having my own review up for Revolution of the Daleks. And then because Netflix has just dropped Cobra Kai.
Oh yeah, it's so good.
I'm on episode 3 now. So as soon as I finish binging season 3, I'll probably have a review up for season 3. And next month, look for my final Time Lord Victorious review, because we were supposed to get All Flesh is Grass, that book, last month. I can say that now because yesterday was December, but they pushed it back to January. So I won't be receiving that book until the end of January. So as soon as I get it and read it, I will have a video review for that as well.
Fantastic. And Paul Strecky, I think you were going to add something there. Sorry about that. Do you want to just say
what was I going to add, Paul?
I don't know. You were saying so. I cut across.
No, I'm still perusing Twitter and praying for humanity.
Okay. Well,
they're doing this circle jerk on Twitter. Oh, it was so good. Oh, yeah. You know.
Okay.
PD Rich.
Okay, just a second. Just gotta find a channel. Yeah, actually, I would like to plug another channel. Actually, I've been watching a lot of lately. I've been watching Ian at Forgotten Weapons, so I'd love to just plug his channel. I'm going to shove it in a chat for a second.
Yeah, in the chat. Yeah, go ahead, man.
Yeah, watching it. It's just watching everything. It's a very interesting channel. If you're interested in firearms because you're into props like I am, go check out Ian's channel because it's absolutely amazing.
Fantastic. That was quick and easy. Thank you, Jed.
Oh, I just last night got StreamYard, so I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do. So I will have some big things coming up on my YouTube channel, hopefully, if that comes through. Big things, not small things, if I can get it done. I'm also on Twitch with the same name, and I'm also on Twitter on the same name. So
fantastic. And let us know when you're ready to go with that YouTube channel so we can...
Oh, I may have to get in touch with Tom or a few other people to maybe hook me up with something so I can do something. So, but I'm trying to get my first stream. I want to do something big for my first stream. I don't want to do something that's like, oh yeah, but yeah, I will. Yeah, everybody will know. But I have a really good idea that came through. Actually, talking to you, Noel, I got the idea from you when I was talking to you. And then it just blossomed into something else. So
look forward to it. Third Doctor, would you like to give your channel a plug and whatever your social medias are?
Cheers, thank you. I'm on Twitter, _Doctor. And I've started messing around with YouTube videos again. A few weeks ago, he persuaded me to go back into it. I generally just do replacement effect videos and things like that. So I did one recently on Death to the Daleks, and another one recently on, my most recent one is Warriors of the Deep, to make it look not as shite as it did. In the back of my mind, I'm planning a video with this thing and firework rockets. So I'll say when that's ready. And I am
Do you want some acetone? I'll send you some acetone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jerdit, Doctor from Yorkshire, you know. Yeah,
it's falling off.
Yeah, but yeah, that's mine. The link is in the description there. Thank you to PD Rich. But yeah, thanks for that, Noel.
No worries.
Absolutely fantastic. Well, listen, folks, it's been brilliant having you on. We actually had at one stage over 130 people watching us. We're down to 81 now, but that's because we've gone over 2 hours. But yeah, big audience watched tonight. So thanks very much for being part of it. I really appreciate it. You know, Series 13 though looms large. It'll be interesting to see where we go from here until the time Series 13 airs. Will more fans drop off? Will fans be happy with this? We will have to see over the next couple of days and see what the reaction is to this. It will take a couple of days you'll get initial reaction. Then when it all dies down a little bit, then you'll get more reaction, and it'll be interesting to see how it's written about and how the fans actually feel. And it's going to be a really interesting time, to be honest with you. But that's it, folks. I just want to say thank you to everybody in the chat as well who contributed, and especially those that contributed with a super chat. I'm back tomorrow for Back to the Future Part 3, so join me for that. And then on Sunday, we are back for the TARDIS Zone talk. So if you wanted to come on tonight, but you didn't get the opportunity, you can come on Sunday and tell us if you've watched the episode. I would like to get people on that have actually seen the episode to get more, as I said, to get more opinions. So if you have watched it, you're more than welcome to come on and talk about it. And it'll be interesting to hear what everybody has to say. So listen, I'm going to leave it there. So thank you again to the panel. You have been absolutely amazing. And thank you, everybody in the chat. Happy New Year. And I hope for some years this episode didn't ruin your New Year.
Yeah.
But, I wish you all the best for 2021. And I hope good things come to you all, because you are all very nice people. It's been a pleasure to know you all. So
nice school.
Have a good one, Ballstreck, Wolf and Storm, PD Rich, Doctor. Thank you very much. And I'll leave
You're welcome, brother. Anytime. And don't forget, tomorrow, Back to the Future will be the same time as last week. It's just the third one, and I think it's going to be Retro, me, and Noel. So don't forget that. So we'll be here for the third part of that.
Yeah, come and join us for that.
You're gonna hear us talk a lot about the third one, because we've talked a lot about the third one, even in 1 and 2 too. You're gonna love this one tomorrow, because we really love the third one.
Yeah.
So.
Right, folks, we'll see you tomorrow on Sunday. Good night. I'll talk to you soon.
Night. Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.
Thank you.